Chairman, and I want to thank all of you. And I neglected to mention when I talked about Secretary Huffman that he also is a colonel and serves in the vice wing and serves as the vice wing commander of the 130th Airlift. So thank you for your service there, Colonel Huffman. I thought it was interesting. I'm glad that Senator Carper went to the principles that you laid out, because I was going to use that in terms of my questioning. So, Secretary Huffman, you highlighted Section 303 of the Clean Water Act in your testimony. And basically it says that the EPA is asked to determine whether a change in the state's water quality standard meets the requirements of the Clean Water Act. And if the EPA determines that a water quality standard isn't consistent, by law, the EPA has to notify within 90 days. My understanding is that the West Virginia legislature approved a change in the state's water quality standard just last year, but the EPA failed to either approve or deny the change within 90 days. I think the substance of the talk we're talking about today is not so much the standards, as you've mentioned, it's the implementation, it's the lawfulness of which the federal agency is moving forward. So in my view, with them not notifying in the timely fashion or giving you good direction, it violates the timely rules and guidance that that the secretary from Delaware was, or the director in Delaware was talking about, and also the accountability portion of that. How vital is that feedback for EPA, that it come in a timely fashion to you so that you can fully implement?
Well, thank you, Senator. It's good to see you again. It's critical because, you know, this is there are a lot of moving parts in the environmental regulatory business. There's a lot going on. We need to make these requests, and we need to get answers, and we need to move on. What's really frustrating is I can submit a change in a water quality standard and not get it, and wrangle for months and sometimes years. But yet, whenever I get an opportunity to comment on proposed rules, I might have 3 days, I might have 4 days, and that's very frustrating. And it makes me wonder, you know, if I were a conspiracy theorist, I might wonder what their agenda is, what's going on here. So it's frustrating.
Let me ask you too the difference between guidance and rules and regulations. You brought that up in your testimony. We find that really throughout the administration. In terms of offering guidance instead of rulemaking, because it does evade the legal aspects of creating a regulation. Are you getting more guidance than you have in the past? Is it more difficult? Is there enforcement mechanisms to guidance?
Guidance, when you govern by guidance instead of going through the protocols that the Congress has set up in our environmental statute, it allows you to get by with more. It allows you to avoid the transparency in how you get to your point, and we're seeing a lot of that in not only with EPA, but as I mentioned with the Office of Surface.
I think most of you have mentioned that what you need is the federal minimum standard. Nobody has a problem with that. It's the implementation aspect of it, but also most of you have mentioned the flexibility that the states need to have. Obviously, in West Virginia, we have a much different situation than you have in Vermont, and you know, we're blessed with a lot of coal, and we use it and have used it, and we're cleaning it up every day. But it's a bigger challenge for us in certain. So we need that flexibility in West Virginia to meet those standards, because as every member would say, clean air, clean water is just as valuable to us, and I think we can eat a lot of the fish that we catch in West Virginia, so we're very happy about that. Is the flexibility aspect probably the most difficult hurdle for you all to overcome? I'll start with you, Secretary Huffman.
I don't know if it's the flexibility or the frustration. I know we're running out of time here. The frustration really seems to be the way it's an inconvenience to involve the public, to involve the states. It takes time. If you want to make a rule, it takes time. And as you all know, that's a very cumbersome process. And the convenient way to do that would be by fiat to impose it upon the states. That's what we're seeing. There is little to no flexibility because it's already written. By the time we get it, it's already written, and the minds are made up, and it's very difficult to overcome that.
And I would just finally know that you participated or agreed to participate with OSM to develop the new stream buffer rule. Many states were involved with this, and because of the numerous frustrations and really the lack of listening that OSM was doing, most of the states pulled out of that, I think. Is that correct?
That is correct. There was a draft of that rule that was OSM mistakenly made public within days of us signing on as a cooperating agency. It was already
It
written.
was already written. Thank you.